Hey everyone, Pastor Wes here with you today. Hope you're having a great week. It's been a beautiful day. The wind is blowing and it feels great. It's kind of cooling things off a little bit so you can get outside and work. I want to share with you just a little bit today something that I was reading this morning. It occurred to me that we live in a world that is filled with fighting. We live in a world that is characterized by fighting and rivalry and violence. Violence that is absolutely fueled by hatred of all kinds. In every level, every class, every ethnic race is affected by it every single day. There is not a day that goes by that you can't flip on the news or read a newspaper and you don't hear about a fight, a stabbing, a shooting, war, the possibility of war, some kind of conflict, some kind of violence going on everywhere, all day long, all across the world. And a lot of Christians right now during this time really ask the question, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? What can I do? What is it that God has called me to do? Well, the fact of the matter is, Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount told us exactly what we can do and what we should be doing right now in this day and age, in this season that we are finding ourselves in our culture. In the midst of strife, in the midst of all that's going on, God calls His people to be peacemakers. Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God." Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Now, we need to note as we consider this verse, I believe there are three types of people that exist in the world when it comes to either wanting or having or living in peace. There are peace breakers, there are peace fakers, and then what we're after, peacemakers, because Jesus said that we would be called the sons of God. Peace breakers, let's talk about what they are and what their motive is. Peace breakers are people who will go absolutely out of their way to break down relationships. People that will do anything they can do to cause trouble, anything they can do to bring division in any place, anywhere, any way they know how. People these are deliberately confrontational people who like to go around. You've probably heard people talk about the people that like to keep the pot stirred. Their goal in life is to disagree with anybody and anything about everything. Breaking up the peaceful environment is their nature. And their motivation is self. Their motivation is based on manipulation and self-seeking type of people is what they are. And for such people, the Bible has very strong words about them. In fact, Paul wrote in Romans chapter 16, verse 17 and 18, he said this. He said, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions." That's strong words there. "Mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple." We can't afford to have peace breakers in the Church of Jesus Christ today. We cannot afford to have peace breakers in our nation today, divisive people that cut away the very life principles of the local assembly. They disrupt the move of God. They destroy any chance whatsoever of revival ever breaking forth within the body. But let me say this, before we go riding off like we're on a witch hunt to find those troublemakers and those peace breakers and deal with them, we need to examine our own hearts first, because you can be a peace breaker and not even know it. Most peace breakers, they don't realize what they're doing. Most of them. They just feel a sense of being justified in themselves. Let me briefly elaborate on the easiest, the most basic way to be a peace breaker. You can be a peace breaker by the way that you use your tongue. Let me read to you what the Apostle James wrote about taming the tongue. James chapter 3, verses 3 through 10. "Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeneth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. The tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Therefore bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth, listen to this, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. Gossip, slander, being a busybody, being overly opinionated, judgmental toward people, these are things that are a destructive force against the church of Jesus Christ. They tear down, they cause division, they bring friction in. And whenever God begins to do something, we know that the enemy will always try to interrupt it. And one of his biggest snares that he uses and works on us is through our own tongue. I mean, I have known churches to go through shattering times of opposition. I've seen churches that have gone through the moral fall of pastoral staff, a total financial wipeout. Yet these churches have stood strong and God has brought them through to great days of blessing. But I've also seen the most prosperous of churches shattered into 1,000 pieces because people simply could not hold their tongue. There's never a good enough reason for the sins of the tongue. Not even the famous, I'm just telling you this so that you can pray about it. I don't care if you feel so justified. There are no excuses because sins of the tongue always grieve the Spirit of God. And so the first types of people when it comes to maintaining or achieving peace in the world are the peace breakers. Next week we'll talk about those who are the peace fakers. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And until I see you again, God bless you. I love you.